Well, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be here with you today. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And even if you're just here to get a seat and get off your feet, welcome. It's good to see you. So today we're going to talk about new age of cloud TV. Before I really get into some of the details, we're just going to roll a bit of a video here.
The world's premier sports leagues, teams and rights holders trust their content to CTS. Backed by the power of Comcast NBC Universal, the home of the Olympic and Paralympic Games. CTS has 24/7 operations and facilities around the globe. And award-winning technology to deliver experiences beyond expectations. From live and linear, to on-demand and streaming. With AI-driven discovery, engagement, and personalization. Better rights management, including blackouts and content switching. Plus, advanced advertising and monetization. We do it for the world's biggest events. And we can do it for you.
So a little bit of background on Comcast Technology Solutions. Hopefully that video kind of gave a little snapshot of what we are as a business, but we've been in the industry for over 25 years. And really our charter is we're a business unit of Comcast to take the technology and innovation from Comcast and Sky and bring that to the technology community in terms of working with broadcast and streaming providers, operators, advertisers. We're going to talk about new age of cloud TV and really get into the details here, but just a snapshot of our product portfolio, and really what we do is everything from post-production right up until playout. And this is Cloud TV Suite on the left-hand side. We'll talk today in terms of the experiences of what we're seeing in the marketplace play out. But these are the other areas that from a product portfolio standpoint, we feel like Comcast Technology is uniquely positioned in that we understand the content space and all the infrastructure and innovation that we have across Comcast, Sky allows us to really understand our partners and what they're looking for and their needs. So what do we mean by the new age of cloud TV? And these are some of the macro trends that we're really seeing play out in the marketplace from feedback that we get with our customers and what we see across our business and the content that we drive. First of which is very much a focus on P&L. So this era that the streaming wars are over post-COVID, that the landscape is largely settled. Now there's a rationalization across content owners for really the economics of their business, and we'll talk about that. Streaming thrives on exclusive sports, so we're seeing a proliferation of sports rights across many of these large streaming platforms. And more so than ever, the consumer audience is driven where it had been largely across maybe some of the traditional linear broadcast experiences. Now it's very much being driven by your streaming, your direct-to-consumer experience. So the concept of driving sports experiences, you have to make sure that you can do that at scale and you can do that across a seamless experience. The advertising shift that we're seeing play out. So video ads projected to hit $377 billion in 2024. So that's a large number, but what we mean by that is it's just we've seen this shift back to advertising across all platforms, and we'll talk in some detail on that. Bundling, so SVOD growth has changed dramatically, and the dynamic there is now having a strategy around bundling where it's a material part of go-to-market and how you're monetizing your content, and we're seeing that play out in the numbers we'll talk about. And then AI driving streaming. So how is AI being used across some of these experiences for the consumer side, for driving back-end efficiencies on automation, on workflow, we'll talk about. These are the major themes that we feel like we see reflected in our customers and what we're seeing across the space. Let's dig in a little bit more detail. So new video economics, really the change here has been looking at the economics of the content and the infrastructure right to bring that experience to market. And this is an area that many of our customers are at an inflection point of some of the capital investments they make in on-prem investments, looking at, is there a way to do that more cost effectively? And that portfolio that we can bring to the marketplace is something that we've seen for consideration across both their broadcast platform and their streaming platform. How do they now bring that convergence in terms of technology teams, in terms of investments? That's really a top of mind consideration that we're seeing play out in the market. Reliability and scale, snapshot of some of the events that we support when we're looking at, when we think about some of the sports rights that are now driving consumers to these streaming platforms. You have to be able to do that at scale, and doing it in such a way where you're the authorization, the entitlement, the access to the content across millions of concurrents. These are some of the events that we support, whether it's the NFL playoffs. More recently, we're just fresh from the Olympics, or supporting Deutsche Telekom for the Euros, where they had over 70 million viewers across the games for back in June, the championship. So it really is something that we think about in our business day to day, because we live and breathe it as Comcast, but also how do we design and engineer services to be run at scale. And as a business, you need to be thinking about now with streaming, your streaming platform really representing a material part of your business. How do you engineer and design it such that it can support millions of concurrents? The advertising model shift, it's another area where we've seen that play out in the industry. You're seeing all the major tier one platforms shift to supporting an ad model. And really, what we look to work with and be able to provide is that blend of business models that you have to have these days to maximize your content and how you distribute it, how you license it, how you window it across AVOD, TVOD, and SVOD. And having an ad experience is really key to your business. Flexible monetization. So really, we're seeing more so than ever the licensing rights around content. The timing cycles get shorter and shorter. So to have the ability as a content owner to be rapidly be able to distribute your content, to be able to surface it in a fast experience, an advertising experience, or shifting those business models, that's really key to have that flexibility in your technology platform as a content owner. If you don't have that, then you're challenged either by the commercial teams out there trying to license and maximize the monetization on the content. So you need to really be able to have a platform that allows you to rapidly react to these new business models, but also address them. The other interesting dynamic we're seeing play out, and this is courtesy of our friends at Omnia, the data point here is bundling now represents, for every net new addition on a subscription platform, for everyone that goes direct on the platform itself and signs up, we're seeing that same user reflected in a bundling experience, whether that's through Cell, whether that's through telco carrier, whatever the bundling option is. So it's shifted that inflection point now where we're seeing it really materially play out. So it's another aspect of, do you have a platform that enables you to bundle in your content with other providers? Do you have a platform that allows you to rapidly distribute your content to monetize it across ad, TVOD, and SVOD? And then a premium experience. So a lot of what we talked about was the economics of the industry, having a platform that gives you that flexibility for your monetization models, taking advantage of an ad experience, having a platform that allows you to scale and do it reliably across millions of users, but also what is the consumer experience then that you're bringing to market, and how are you differentiating that? So what we're seeing is AI is used particularly to enhance metadata to drive differentiated experiences around contextual advertising. So do you have a rich metadata across your content that can now make sure that you're targeting the consumer in such a way that is effective for that ad load? The recommendation of content, do you have that rich metadata to drive really curated recommendations to your consumers so they can find the right content at the right time? And how do you personalize that content? Other aspects of content sensitivity. So again, running AI in your content to understand scenes of violence, other elements. And these are all things that you can bring then to the consumer experience. So really, for us, again, these are, when we talk about cloud TV, this is the post-COVID landscape that we're seeing. This is what is top of mind for really content owners and how they should consider their business. But these are also areas that really CTS brings to the market in our portfolio across linear and broadcast and streaming. Really the components that we provide, whether it's centralized video management, we offer managed services around that experience, integrating with ad providers, other end components of your partner ecosystem or your back office, and then leveraging all the AI components to drive a differentiated personalization experience across the app.